Hi. Brandon Walker, more Cowbell, the Mississippi State Podcast, SEC Country. We're back. We are back. Took a day off because I had to do some other things for the national title game. It was a busy day around here with Georgia and Alabama playing in the national title game. When you run SEC Country, when you cover all the SEC teams, and two SEC teams play for a national championship, it can get quite busy. Plus, there are a bunch of Georgia fans in this office. They're sad. They're very sad today. And I can't really make fun of them at all because we've been there. We've watched a team play Alabama very well and have them beat, only to watch Alabama escape in the end with a victory. So I can't say that I am surprised by what happened last night. Georgia had them. They didn't knock them out, and Alabama got off the mat and won the game. I was rooting for Georgia. I thought Alabama would win because I just didn't think you were going to beat Nick Saban twice in a row in national title games. Coaching staff at Alabama, I thought just much better than Georgia, did a better job. But, Georgia's going to be something to deal with for the next couple of years. But yeah, it was one heck of a game, I'll tell you that. And it was, Georgia fans have nothing to be ashamed of. Their team had Alabama. They had them and just didn't finish the deal. And as State fans, I think we can all sympathize with that because that happened to us about 2 months ago. Michael Clyburn says, I was going for Bama, but Georgia got cheated out of that game. I don't think they got cheated out of the game. Yeah, there were a couple of bad calls, but I wouldn't say they got cheated out of the game. Kind of cheated themselves out of the game when they just kind of went into a shell in the fourth quarter and Jake Fromm forgot how to quarterback. But that'll happen with those kind of stakes against that kind of defense. Was it SEC Country who came out with an early 2018 poll and didn't have us in it? No, that was Sporting News. SEC Country reported that Sporting News had their early top 25, and we put a story out about it, but that was Sporting News. So, yeah, Sporting News did not have what are you looking at, Terp? I feel like you're staring a hole through me.
I don't even think I was looking.
Okay.
I'm really tired. I was kind of just staring into space.
I see. Yeah, the Sporting News doesn't think State's in the top 25. We'll talk about the top 25 for 2018. We'll definitely talk about that. Jay Hammers with a nice comment. Nice to see Alabama someone other than us. Yep. I mean, that's what we deal with. That's the life we lead, and Georgia now knows. I mean, you got to knock Alabama out. You just have to knock them out. You're not. If they're close in the fourth quarter, they're going to figure out a way to win. Jalen Hurts probably never gonna play another snap at Alabama. It's really hard to imagine a worse quarterbacked first half than that was, and then Alabama made the switch. Nick Saban said, "I'm not going down like this," and he put his freshman in, won a national title. That's why Nick Saban is Nick Saban. So today we're going to talk about the 2018 season, where Mississippi State should be ranked, where how exciting it's going to be for Mississippi State, how loaded Mississippi State is, where they fall among the SEC contenders in 2018. We'll talk about that ridiculous basketball game Mississippi State lost at Ole Miss. That's one of the most disappointing games I can remember in a very, very long time. Montez Sweat is coming back. That was the news of the weekend. We'll discuss that on today's show. And we'll also get to the coaching staff, which is now complete, it looks like, except for maybe one last 10th hire. And we'll have a shot of Jack at the end of the show. It'll be a good podcast. It'll be the stuff we do all the time. What are you doing?
You guys lose to Ole Miss?
In basketball?
Again?
Yeah. It was disappointing.
Oof.
Very disappointing. Jeremiah Body is taking winning the West or nothing at all. Well, Alabama didn't win the West. They just won a national title. You think they would take winning the West or nothing at all? Probably not, right? I mean, winning the West would be fine, but you can still win a great deal of things without winning the West. Hello, Winona, Mississippi, David Carter. Bonnie Williamson Gable says, shut up, Terp. So shut up, Terp.
Nope.
Okay. Athlon Sports preseason poll has us 21st and LSU 19th. Go figure. Well, I mean, LSU is probably going to be ranked ahead of Mississippi State in a lot of polls. And should they? No, absolutely they shouldn't. Should they be ahead of Mississippi State in the final AP poll? No, they shouldn't. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I refuse to get upset that we're 19th and LSU is 18th. I'm just not going to get all bent out of shape, even though privately I'm very bent out of shape about it. Hello, Vaughn, Mississippi, John Burnett. Hello, Fred Harley. Hail State from Dallas, Carolyn Crane. Final AP poll has LSU one above us. Yes, Jay Hammers, they do. We're 19th. LSU is 18th. 19 beat 18 by 30 points. I saw it. It was on TV. It was in all the papers. I don't understand it, but whatever. Fred Harley says, I like Terp. He has a cool voice. You don't know the half of it, Fred.
Thank you, Fred. I like how your name is spelled.
There's nothing cool about Terp. Hail State from Troy, Alabama. Hello, Amy Hall. Ringgold, Georgia. Had a big car accident up in Ringgold. Yeah, I'm just ignoring these stupid comments. We're not going to deal with that. We know how, I mean, we can block people, right? We can't block people?
I can figure it out.
We'll take care of that. Thorne, Mississippi. Hello, Danny Higginbottom. Hello from Boise, Idaho. Hello from West Virginia. Jessica M. Ballsy from West Virginia. Hi from Boise, Idaho. I need to block. All right. I'll just go on about my business, and we'll do the show. You ready, Terp?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
The More Cowbell Show, brought to you by SEC Country. And now, your host of the More Cowbell Show, Brandon Walker.
That's me, Brandon Walker, More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country, coming to you from the SEC Country studios in beautiful and warming up Dunwoody, Georgia. Finally warming up a little bit. I think it's up to 41 degrees this morning, which is balmy compared to what it's been. High temperature of 57 today, Terp. I might go shirtless in the streets.
Had to get a suntan out there.
I know. It's going to be, I don't know how I'm going to react, but can't wait till it gets to 57. National title game last night. Alabama wins their 29th national title in the last 3 years. I'm not sure how that's possible, but it feels like it, doesn't it? Alabama just always there, always winning national championships. It's really fun playing in the SEC West and having your nearest neighbor be Alabama. That's just pleasant. Really enjoy that. Thanks, geography. Thanks, SEC. Thanks, everybody. I love playing next to the national champions every other year. But real talk, Alabama is incredible. I mean, Georgia should have won that game. I think everybody would say that. Georgia had it, but you got to knock Alabama out. You have to knock them out. You can't just knock them down. State learned that a couple of months ago. You can knock them down all night, and if you give them a chance in the fourth quarter, you're going to lose that game. That's what happened. And kudos to Nick Saban. His quarterback was awful in the first half, beyond awful. And he wasn't going to put up with it. He wasn't going to go down on account of somebody who has their job because they're an upperclassman. He made the change. Tua Tagovailoa came in. I got it right. He came in, won a national title. So that was impressive coaching, impressive from Alabama. But that's enough about that. That is enough about that. Today we're going to talk about the 2018 SEC race. Alabama should be considered the favorite. Georgia should be considered a co-favorite. But after that, hello, Mississippi State. Mississippi State should be right in there behind that. Right in there behind Alabama and Georgia, ahead of teams like Auburn, ahead of teams like LSU. Now, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about it. We'll also talk about the loss at Ole Miss on Saturday in basketball. Very disappointing loss. And then we'll talk about the coaching staff for Joe Moorhead, which now looks like it's almost complete. And we'll end the show with a shot of Jack at the end. Three clips of Jack Crystal. So let's get started. 2018 season is what's next on the agenda. 2017 is now over. Mississippi State finishes ranked 19th. Mississippi State wins 9 games for the third time in 4 years. Mississippi State returns everybody of note from this team next season. 2018 looks like a very, very good team for Mississippi State. Finishing 19th in the AP poll behind SEC teams Alabama and Georgia and Auburn and LSU. The same LSU that finished 9-4, just like Mississippi State. The same LSU that lost to Troy. The same LSU that lost by 30 points at Mississippi State. But I'm not going to get all bent out of shape. What's the difference in 19 and 18 really? It's not that big of a deal. It is a slap in the face, sure. But, my face is kind of immune to slaps at this point. It is what it is. Whatever. Not going to get me upset. It's not going to get me upset. I'm not going to get mad. I'm sorry. I got a little upset. You okay? Everybody okay? Terp's mad because I yelled and he wasn't ready, so the audio levels jumped.
No more yelling.
No more yelling? Just got to stay right here, huh? Sorry about that. We had a chance to finish top 10 this year, but we blew it in the Egg Bowl. Dan Mullen blew it. We blew it in the Egg Bowl. We lost to an inferior team, to a bad football team, and it hurt our momentum for a while, but we got the momentum back. Anyway, all that's over. 2017 is over. That's in the past. It's about 2018 right now. None of that matters anymore. Mississippi State heads into 2018 with momentum. Thanks to Keaton Thompson, thanks to interim coach Greg Knox, thanks to that interim coaching staff, thanks to every player on the team. Winning the Tax Slayer Bowl in Jacksonville gave Mississippi State a needed shot of momentum. We had limped into the postseason. Losing Mullen, losing the Egg Bowl, we had limped in, but they gave us the momentum back. And now we head into 2018 with a tremendous amount of momentum, a tremendous amount of excitement for the season. And I think the biggest shot of momentum came on Saturday when Montez Sweat announced he would be returning for his senior season. Montez Sweat, the junior college transfer, started his career at Michigan State. He's from Stone Mountain, Georgia. He's 6'5". He's 245 pounds. And he is a pass rushing nightmare. He led the SEC in sacks this year with 11.5. He led the SEC in tackles for loss, and he is coming back for his senior year. He will join Jeffrey Simmons, who will be the best defensive player in the Southeastern Conference in 2018. They will be part of what could be the best defensive line in the Southeastern Conference in 2018. It'll either be Alabama or Mississippi State when you talk about that. This is a big deal. To have Montez Sweat back, to have that pass rusher back, you have Jeffrey Simmons in the middle commanding double and triple teams, and now you bring back an all-SEC pass rusher. Bob Shoop is the new defensive coordinator, and he is inheriting an embarrassment of riches on the defensive line. Adding in Chauncey Rivers, a guy who was rated just as highly as Sweat, who couldn't play this year. He is going to be very good. State should have one of the best defenses in the Southeastern Conference next year. At the defensive line level, they are elite. At the linebacker level, they are very good. If the defensive back level comes along, it was 13th in the country in passing yardage allowed this year. That's not a fluke. But it gave up way too many big passes, way too many big plays. If you can fix that even a little bit, State's one of the top 10 defenses in the country next year. They rank statistically one of the top 10 this year. State should have one of the best defenses in the SEC. State should have one of the best offenses in the SEC in 2018. Ask yourself a question. As a Mississippi State fan, I'm a State fan, I'm 38 years old. When has Mississippi State ever had one of the league's best offenses and one of the league's best defenses in the same season? Anybody? 2014 had one of the best offenses, but the defense was middle of the pack. 1999, had the best defense in the league, but offense was not very good at all. Now this year, 2018, you're coming into the season with one of the best defenses and one of the best offenses with an all-SEC quarterback. We've talked about this 2018 season for 6 months, for a year. and it is shaping up to be everything we thought it would be as far as entering the season with talent. Now, once we get in the season, what will happen? I don't know. There are two pronounced questions on this team, wide receiver and defensive back. Wide receiver was addressed in recruiting. If they come along quickly, that will be very good. Defensive back wasn't addressed as much in recruiting. Hopefully you've got guys. Cam Dantzler was outstanding in the bowl game. If he can bring that to 2018, wow. But looking at the other contenders in this league, setting Alabama aside because they are what they are every single year, looking at the other contenders in the league, the state has fewer questions than all of them. LSU is basically starting over offensively. They'll have Miles Brennan, a quarterback. We have no idea if he'll be any good. They're losing Darius Geis. They're losing their receivers. They're losing their tight end. They're losing every skill player they have on offense, and their offense wasn't any good anyway. LSU also gave $2.5 million to a defensive coordinator who finished 5th in the league in defense this year with that talent. That is a time bomb. That is an explosion waiting to happen. It's not going to end well. Auburn lost their entire offensive line. They lost Kerryon Johnson. And their wide receivers are garbage. So I don't think Auburn is anything to worry about in 2018. And Auburn has to travel to Starkville. Arkansas has a long road back. Ole Miss is postseason ineligible. A&M is probably a year away from being anything under Jimbo Fisher. Alabama's Alabama. But the point is, get excited for 2018. I know you already are. And I know as these early top 25 come out, you look at them. Some Sporting News has Mississippi State unranked because Sporting News apparently doesn't follow college football. But it is something to get excited about. Knowledgeable media members will have State in the top 15. And if they don't have Mississippi State in the top 15, they're not a knowledgeable media member. And now I'm nervous because SEC Country probably doesn't have them in the top 15, and I'm going to look stupid. Okay, that's great. One step forward, one step back for the basketball team. Last week we beat Arkansas. Everybody's happy. Everybody's going crazy. Yay! Basketball team's back. Go to Oxford and nothing. What was that? What the heck was that? That was as frustrating a loss as I can remember. This is twice in the span of 2 months State has lost to a wretched Ole Miss team. An awful Ole Miss team. Ole Miss basketball is the worst team in the league. And State just goes up there and loses. Worst defense in the league, score 58 points. State's a better team than Ole Miss, has a better coach. Why is Andy Kennedy owning Ben Howland in year 3? You can talk about the job Ben Howland's done. You can talk about whatever you want. But why, oh why, is he losing to Andy Kennedy in year 3? Andy Kennedy is terrible. The only place in the SEC he would have a job is Ole Miss. And he has one there, and he completely owns Mississippi State right now. And that is embarrassing. The game was ours. I have no idea how we lost it. No idea how we lost it. The shooting on this team has progressed from awful to dreadful. If you're keeping a scale there, dreadful is lower than awful. I think we're asking the wrong questions about this team. Fans are asking, hey, why do we keep shooting threes when we can't shoot them? Why do we keep shooting when we're 0 for 10 in the second half? I think we're asking the wrong question. My question is, why aren't we making the ones we take? These guys we've recruited are shooters. Tyson Carter is a shooter. Lamar Peters always has been a shooter. Why are we all of a sudden missing every good three-point look we take? Shooting is not something you forget how to do. You don't wake up in the morning and say, oh, I forgot how to shoot a basketball. It is a natural skill, and it is something that these state players have been able to do in their life. And now all of a sudden they get in SEC games, they get a wide-open three, and they forget how to do it. I think our rotation's a little long. It's a 9-man rotation right now. 9 men played important minutes at Ole Miss. I'd shorten it up to 8. I think our rotation's a little too crowded right now, and guys are not really getting comfortable. Guys are not really settling into roles. I would shorten it to 8. I had Richard Williams on a couple of weeks ago, and he said, early in his career, he had a recruiting class of 7 guys. They were all pretty good, and it never really got good as a team until 2 of them transferred, and it cleared up roles. I think that would probably help this team. I think there are players playing that are really just hurting the cause at this moment. I'm not going to say who they are. It's just very frustrating. Now you got to go to Florida. That's going to be a very difficult game. You're going to start 1-2 in the SEC, and now it's a must-win Auburn at home, and State can win that game at home. I see people saying, oh, now we're going to lose to Auburn. Home games and road games, different animals. All right, this is a very bunched-up SEC. It's a good SEC, and home games or road games are very, very hard to win for everybody. You know, Kentucky lost at Tennessee. A&M started 0-4. A&M might be the best team in the conference. So it's a weird year in the SEC. You got to win your home games and steal what you can on the road. State had a very good chance to steal one in Oxford and didn't do it. They did not do it. The coaching staff is complete. Joe Moorhead's staff has come together. Joe Moorhead's staff is now, I guess he'll add a 10th assistant, maybe a special teams helper or whatever. But as far as the actual coaching staff, it looks complete. Listed on the Mississippi State Athletic website, you got Joe Moorhead as head coach. In case you guys didn't know that, that's a scoop for you. Mark Hudspeth, tight end coach. Andrew Briner, the former Fordham head coach, now the quarterback coach and passing game coordinator at State. Charles Huff, the Penn State running back coach, now the running back coach at Mississippi State. Brian Baker stays as defensive line coach. Terrell Buckley stays as cornerbacks coach. Tim Lukabu from the San Francisco 49ers, the new linebackers coach. Luke Getsy from the Green Bay Packers, wide receiver coach and co-offensive coordinator. Marcus Johnson, whose only fault is he doesn't do well when choosing a college to play for, is the offensive line coach. Anthony Paroli, hired as a strength coach. He is a Matt Bayless disciple. He is somebody who is back at Mississippi State. And Bob Shoop, the defensive coordinator from Tennessee and Penn State. Now, it is a very unique coaching staff in that I think Joe Moorhead addressed a variety of things. He needs smart professional coaches to execute his offense. He went out and got that with the Fordham head coach. He went out and got that with the Green Bay Packers, 33-year-old wide receiver coach now from Mississippi State. And he kept some Mississippi State recruiting ties. He kept a little bit of continuity. Mark Hudspeth comes back. We know he knows the lay of the land in Mississippi when it comes to recruiting. He got Brian Baker to stay, who has been here a couple of years. His defensive line is elite, will be elite in 2018. That's a nice little bonus for him. He gets to stay and coach it. And Terrell Buckley gets to stay, who's been here a couple of years. You know what? I got an aside real quick. I have an aside. I wasn't going to talk about this, but as I talk about coaching, as I talk about the team that's coming back, I really got to – this is a name I promised myself I wouldn't say anymore. I wouldn't really talk about this guy. But what in the hell was Dan Mullen thinking? He stayed in Starkville 9 years, and finally he puts together a team that is complete on both sides of the ball. Finally, LSU looks like it's going to take a step back. Auburn looks like it's going to take a step back. Finally, in 2018, he's got an SEC championship contender, and he goes to the Walmart of SEC schools. He goes to Florida to go coach a quarterback position that doesn't have anybody, to coach a team that has been a wreck, that was awful in 2017. What was he thinking? He could have written his own check next year. He could have gone anywhere in the country he wanted to based on what could happen next year. Now, I'm not complaining. I think Joe Moorhead and this staff are more than capable of coaching this team to whatever they're going to do. And I'm happy that some guys like John Hevesy are now in Gainesville. But how do you build what Mullen built? How do you fight through everything you fought through and then step away and go to a trash roster when you have built what you've built? That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. He's setting himself up to be fired in 3 years. I don't, maybe I'm just being overly critical. Maybe I'm just being a passionate fan. Maybe I'm just being a moron. There's a chance all three of those are true. I don't care what you think. My wife loves me. Maybe. We have to, depending on what the day is. All right. Payday, sure. Anyway, that was just my little aside. I tried to get through it without going into that little meltdown, but it happened. So let's just go through it. You know what I need? You know what I need, Terp?
I think you need some shots.
I need 3 shots of Jack. That's what I need. I need a shot of Jack. It's cold outside. It's miserable outside. It's been gray. I'm wearing a gray outfit. Nothing's happy right now. We need, what'd you call it, a grout fit?
Grout fit.
We need a shot of Jack. So Alabama won the national championship last night. Yay, whatever. Okay, roll tide, roll tide. Anyway, I'm very happy for the 15% of the Alabama fan base that went to school at Alabama. Anyway, they won the national title again. That's their 27th national title in the last 2 months. Whatever. I just want to hark back 10 years. Has it been 10 years? Is that the last time State beat Alabama? 2007. Nick Saban's first year. Believe it or not, State has beaten Saban, and Sylvester Croom did it. I don't think anybody was I guess we were expecting it. We were having a pretty good year, but 2007, State plays Alabama. It's the last time State beat Alabama. And guess what? Jack Crystal, the greatest play-by-play announcer of all time, was there. He was able to call the action. So today, we're going back to that. Terp, play clip number 1.
Wide side of the field to the right, to the opposite side. To the short side, they send Brandon McRee, put a wing back long, work it off the right side. Bulldogs slam it to the goal line and score with Anthony Dixon on the carry.
Great job of blocking that right side. They had a double wing out there with a fullback and a tight end, and Eric Butler and Eric Hoskins. And that right side of the Bulldog offensive line did a great job. They got the push. They gave the seam, and Dixon plunged it into the end zone, and Mississippi State scored with just seconds left to go in the first half. And now early in the second half, on their first possession, they take it in after another interception.
Well, that's a little out of order. I didn't realize it was out of order. However, Anthony Dixon scoring a touchdown with Jack Crystal calling it is never the wrong answer. That's always something good. You know, I think of great representatives for Mississippi State University. I think of number 1, Brandon Walker. Then I think of Jack Crystal. I think of Anthony Dixon. Jack Crystal was a representative of State for over 5 decades, nearly 6 decades, 58 years he worked for the university. And then Anthony Dixon, I hope, is a representative of us for the next 5 decades because he is marvelous. He is a fantastic human being and player. And that was great. Mississippi State takes the lead against Alabama, I think, with that touchdown by Anthony Dixon. Actually, we already had the lead. We were leading 10-9 at that point. You know how we got the lead?
How?
Play clip number 2.
Alabama would like to get the touchdown. And do they put it in the hands of their offensive lines and the running back, or do they try to throw the ball because they don't have another timeout?
They're going to go to 1 running back set, 2 tight ends. Up underneath center goes Wilson. Wilson rolls back to throw. He throws it into the end zone. Intercepted. And bringing it out, Mississippi State. Up the sidelines. And racing all the way down the sidelines. And what could be a touchdown for Mississippi State. It will be a touchdown for Mississippi State.
Anthony Johnson in the end zone. Bulldogs were all over Wilson, and he made an errant throw under pressure. And John Carrero, the Bulldogs, go over 100 yards down the field and return it for a touchdown.
Yay! Boy, that was nice. I was living in Meridian, Mississippi, in Causeyville Road, and I was washing my Jeep. I had a Jeep at the time because I was just married and I was still happy in my life and I could have things. And I was washing my Jeep, listening to that game, and I had my car angled. I could watch it on TV right there in my front. And Anthony Johnson took off, and so did I. I ran down the road at least a half a mile. It was fantastic. Incredible. One of the great plays in Mississippi State history, Anthony Johnson. You know what's fun about that, Terp? You know what's great? Mike Johnson works for SEC Country. Does SEC Country Live, right? That play right there, Titus Brown was a defensive end for Mississippi State, and he got to the quarterback and forced that interception. He ran right through Mike Johnson to do it. Right through it. And Mike will tell you, yeah, Titus Brown was tough to deal with, but it happened. And the stadium, from what people say, somebody just said it, Drew Newell said it on Facebook Live, the stadium was literally shaking. It was very, very loud that day when that happened. One of the probably loudest, I guess probably one of the loudest moments we ever had until we bowled that stadium in and it became regular. Yeah, great memory. But the game ain't over until this happens.
The downs really are not of a great significance now. It's the time element, and Wilson was going to run with the football, and the Bulldogs are going to try to keep him in bounds, and they do at the 45-yard line in Mississippi State territory, but the clock now is down to 17 seconds. But he's in position to throw the old Hail Mary now.
The old Hail Mary.
Another first down for Alabama. in Mississippi State 47-yard line. And the Tide has Wilson spiking the football with 14 seconds on the clock.
That's a long
It'll be a
clip.
second down situation.
Well, Alabama has time to try to get about half of it in one play if they would like, and then try to throw it in the end zone, particularly if they could get it out of bounds, or they may just try to take a couple of shots at the end zone, but they put themselves in position to do it with a couple of plays.
Entire fourth quarter here.
Bulldogs have given up a lot of yardage on a couple of quick plays, trying to prevent anything deep behind them. Keep everything in front of you, as the old adage is. 14 seconds left in the ball game, and somewhere your defense has to make a stand over the next 2 plays or so.
Oh, I bet they do.
So Wilson will work from the shotgun again. He awaits the snap. He's got it. He's back to throw. He's looking. He's looking. He's being chased. He's hit and sacked. Wilson is sacked. Alabama cannot call timeout. This ball game is going to be over, and you can wrap it in maroon and white. Mississippi State 17, Alabama 12. Put this one in the record book. There's Bedlam at Davis Wade Stadium, Scottsdale.
Yeah, when I first did the throat slash, I just mean the game's over. We're going to win. I wasn't telling you to turn it off.
That was a confusing cue.
It was a confusing cue. I'm sorry about that. But that's what happens when I get all up in the moment. All right? I get all fired up about Jack Crystal calling. And that was Titus Brown again. I don't know if he whipped Mike Johnson that time, but let's be honest. He probably did. Titus Brown, around the end, sacks, what was his name? John something. Michelle Ashley Olsen. I don't know. Whatever his name was. John Parker Wilson. The quarterback for Alabama sacks him, ends the game. Mississippi State wins. The last time we beat Alabama, which is one of the saddest statements I've ever made in my life. But Alabama national champs, whatever. All right, here I come. I'm coming right to you. Facebook Live, we'll talk about whatever you'd like to talk about. Let's talk about food. I'm hungry. Sarah Jessica Parker. Thank you, Travis. Travis Person. I had that one wrong. We'll be back tomorrow to talk all things Mississippi State sports on the podcast. My name is Brandon Walker. You've been listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. Jason Sherman says if that doesn't get you pumped up, then find another team. Hail State. Well, it got me pumped up. Terp, to get you pumped up?
Sure.
All right.
A little bit, I guess.
All right.
Hail State.
Oh, it got you pumped up, Caesar? All right. Well, you need to be pumped up. You're only about 5'1". Anyway, that's not funny. It's kind of funny. If Jack doesn't give you goosebumps, you don't have a pulse. I got goosebumps, and I do have a pulse. Listening to Jack makes me tear up. Joshua Yeager. I met Josh in Jacksonville. Good guy. Did Kroom or Dan leave us with a worse receiving core? On the field, probably Mullen, but he did leave the recruiting class in good shape at receiver, so I give him credit for that. But on the field, I would say Mullen, because that recruiting core at the end of the year and then the Gator Bowl was just not SEC quality. Big green eggs, smoked brisket, and buffalo steak for supper, says Brandon Halford. How do people afford big green eggs? How do y'all afford these things?
How much are they?
They're like $800 or $1,000. They are ridiculously expensive. Look, credit to you. I can't afford things. I don't know where you guys get the money to do these things. And I work at SEC Country. I'm loaded. No? What are you laughing at? Possumtown, Mississippi. Stan C. Riddle checking in from Columbus today. Kroom is in the playoffs right now. Listen, I don't have any ill will towards Sylvester Kroom. I hope he wins a Super Bowl. He went to the Titans. He's a good running back coach. That's probably what he should be. He should be an NFL assistant coach. He's very good at it. So good for him. I hope he wins it. I hope he gets him a ring. Mullen had me fooled too. He must have been trying to leave when he got there. I don't think that. I just question his decision of why he left or when he left. You know, everybody says, yeah, he wanted to leave when he got there. He stayed 9 years, and you don't stay anywhere 9 years unless you're pretty comfortable and you're pretty happy. So eventually he decided it was time to go, and I just wonder why the time was now. It's just odd to me. Imagine building a house from scratch, And right when the final doorknob gets put on, you're just like, oh, burn it down. I'm good. I'm just going to go. I'll go live in an apartment somewhere. I'll go live in a strip mall. That's what he's doing. He's living in the strip mall of the SEC, Gainesville, Florida. New strength coach, thumbs up, says Mike Kilgore. Anthony Paroli is a strength coach. I know the players who played under him are happy that he's coming back, so that's always a good sign. Always a good sign. Jay Hammer says, I'm with you. If he waits one more year, huge payday. Yeah, that's what I think, too. That's what I think. Of course, I mean, he got the Florida job. The Florida job is a top 10 job in the country, so I guess there is that. I don't know. It's just weird. It's called going in debt, says Danny Pinter. Talking about affording stuff like the Big Green Egg. If Shoop goes to 4-3, can you imagine Sweat, Simmons, Hoyette, and Rivers on the D-line? Who do you double team? Simmons. And you take your chances with the rest, and the rest are really good. But if you're going to double team anybody, it's Jeffrey Simmons. He's the best player in the SEC next year. About to eat some fried deer tenderloin, purple hull peas, and cornbread. I like this where people just report what they're eating. I really like that. I don't know why. Fried deer can you fry deer? It's such a dry meat. Can you fry it? I guess you can fry it. You can fry anything. You can fry a shoe if you want to. Do you feel better or worse about playing Bama next year after last night? No change whatsoever. Alabama's Alabama. They'll always be Alabama as long as Saban's there. No change whatsoever. None. Worst officiated playoff game ever last night? It was bad. But, I mean, college football officiating leaves a lot to be desired anyway. Thank you, Beaver Peterson. Are we just going to ignore the fact that guy's name is Beaver Peterson? Deer's awesome fried, said Danielle Whalen Gaud. Stapleton suspended? Question mark, says Charlie Jones. If he is, it's happened in the last 10 minutes. I don't know it. If he is, it's happened while the show has been on. I think the Alabama loss this year really got to Mullen, says Bob Ivy. At Florida, 5-star guys fall out of trees, less sign and develop. Yeah, you'd be surprised. They don't, I mean, I guess you could say they fall out of trees, but he's also going to be in the middle of Mark Richt and Willie Taggart and then Kirby Smart. I don't think he's going to recruit, and Florida fans are going to demand a level of recruiting. If he's finishes top 15, they're going to be mad. We didn't demand a level of recruiting. We demanded a level of winning, and he met that every single year, just about. They're going to demand he wins in February, and that's new to him. That is very new to him. Bama football or South Carolina women's basketball? Worst officials? I just thought it was hilarious watching Dawn Staley get ejected for complaining about officials when they basically beat us twice. Not the third time, but twice last year because of officiating. Will Ole Miss hang a 2018 National Championships banner since their quarterback is Hawaiian also? It's very funny, Kenny Manning. I enjoy that joke. How do you punch another player and not get ejected? Morgan Maurice Willis. Well, you have an Alabama helmet on. That's how you do it. You can also attack your coaches and try to fight everybody on the sideline and then go make a tackle 3 minutes later. Although, fairness to Saban, he probably didn't see it. I mean, he wasn't watching the same TV we were watching. Yes.
Also a monstrous tackle.
Monstrous.
Literally one hand.
A clothesline, yeah.
Demolished McCole Hardman.
More like McCole's Softeman, right?
Ooh.
Hey, go see he was. What am I doing with my life? Okay.
Also, I figured out how to ban people. So
you did? Did you get rid of them?
They have to comment. I didn't see any more of those comments.
Yeah.
If I saw any more, I was going to start hiding.
Tomorrow you're on that duty.
Yeah. Just give me a name.
Just get rid of them.
X amount.
All right. We have an All-American kicker in Chrisman. Well, a freshman All-American, but okay. How does an elite quarterback from Hawaii end up in Alabama? Danny Pinter, just the same way as an elite running back from Indiana or California or wherever ends up in Alabama. They pick the best players in the country every year. Doesn't matter where they are. Deshaun Hands from Virginia. Josh Jacobs, a running back. He was from Indiana, I think. Najee Harris, is he from California, I think? So they get them wherever it doesn't matter where they are. Alabama gets who they want. Beaver Peterson is from Starkville. It's a nickname from childhood. Real name is Will. Yeah, I'd go with Beaver. Will Peterson, fine name, but Beaver Peterson is epic. You should have a show on CMT about you. Beaver Peterson, the Beaver Peterson Hour. I would watch that all the time. Is Shoop as good as Grantham? He's got a pedigree that is very similar. Very similar. I would say he could be. He wasn't the last 2 years, though. But Tennessee was a mess. We agree? Yes. I won't say shut up again, Terp. Don't block me, says Bonnie Williams to Cable. No matter what Bonnie says, you don't block Bonnie.
I won't.
Okay, we're not blocking
Bonnie. I do
Bonnie.
have a lot of power now.
You have power.
So watch it, comment section.
But you're not blocking Bonnie.
I won't.
Okay. I swear, if you block Bonnie, I will come in there. Hello, Brandon from D'Iberville, Hale State. I'm still mad at D'Iberville for the 2002 state championship game, West Point, D'Iberville. But that's okay. Hello. It's only been 16 years. I believe I heard them say last night that Tua's entire family moved to Alabama. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think his brother is now a 4- or 5-star recruit in Tuscaloosa, so whatever. Will there be quarterback issues at Mississippi State and Alabama? There are no quarterback issues at Alabama, I guarantee you. I guarantee. I don't think there are either. Nick Fitzgerald's going to start one more year, then Keaton Thompson it'll be his team. But Tua Tagovailoa is the starting quarterback at Alabama. I don't care what anybody says. He is the new starting quarterback at Alabama. Jalen Hurts will never take another meaningful snap for that team. Everybody agreed? Good. It's my show. I'm the only one with a microphone, so who cares if y'all agree?
I have a mic. I do agree with you, though.
Dang it. I love this show. Best show out there. Thank you, Michael Clyburn, who is getting ahead of the Don't Block Me Terp train.
Yes.
He's not going to block. He's not going to block. The only word that gets you blocked is going to be couch from now on.
All right.
Because I don't know where these people come from that do this couch crap.
I agree.
But they've done it a couple times, and just as soon as you say couch, like you can't even talk about the receiver named Jamal at Mississippi State. You don't even talk about him. His name's Jamal Couch. So just come up with a new name for him. We'll name him later. All right. Who is West Point's next top recruit? Thomas Loftus. Good question. It's Point City, first of all. And we're probably going to go through about a 2 or 3 year lull until the next one. I think our 9th grade group right now is the next great group at West Point. So I don't know his name, but I'm sure he's in that group. Why does that apply to Bama but not State? Speaking about quarterback, are you talking about the freshman quarterback coming in playing well and Tua taking the job and that not applying to Keaton Thompson? Is that what you're asking? It's very, very simple. Tua is taking the job of Jalen Hurts because Jalen Hurts is not good. He's not a good quarterback. And he severely limited that team last night. The difference in Tua and Jalen Hurts, it was incredible. All Keaton Thompson did was continue what Fitzgerald did this year. Fitzgerald was really good for State. And then Keaton Thompson was really good for State in the bowl. It just went from really good to really good. From Jalen Hurts to Tua, it went from awful to awesome. And that's the biggest difference. Jamal, cushion bench, the thing that you sit in. Not bad. Probably shorten that up, but not bad. Is Land Shark hibernating? No, she's over there. She's over there. Do we go to Omaha this year? I have no idea. With this coach and that pitching staff, it is very, very possible. It's a very exciting year for Mississippi State baseball. After doing what they did last year in the new stadium, I would say excitement going into the season is at an all-time high for Mississippi State baseball, and that is saying a lot. Hurts will end up at EMCC. Well, that's not possible. He can't do that. He's already played his sophomore year. He can't go to EMCC. It is baseball season, says Flint Williamson. It is not his basketball season, as depressing as that sounds. Hurts may be 25-2, but Tua is the true dual threat, says Tyler Gray. How did you not eat at Long's Fish Camp when you lived in Meridian? I ate there yesterday. So good. Can I ask a question? Why are restaurants like that called fish camps? I don't like the word fish camp in a restaurant. I don't go to a camp to eat. I don't. It's a weird name for me. It's always a turnoff. If your restaurant is Walker's Fish Camp, call it Walker's Fish House or Walker's Fish or hey, come eat this delicious fish brought to you by the Walkers. I don't know. Call it whatever you want. But fish camp's a weird word for a restaurant. Is that just me? Because I know it. Every town in Mississippi has a fish camp restaurant. And it's weird. It's weird. Not West Point. We have the Fish Shack. The Fish Shack. Sorry. Thank you, Bonnie, for the question. I got a little carried away. We're going to go a little over today because I'm fired up out here. I'm having fun. We didn't do a show yesterday. Did you roll your eyes at me?
I didn't do anything.
She rolled her eyes at me.
Uh-oh.
You're crazy. Fish camps are the best. I'm not saying the restaurant isn't good. Most of them are very good. I'm just saying I don't like the word fish camp as the title of your restaurant, as the name of your restaurant. Robert Woodard has a good chance to lead the team in points per game next season. No, I disagree with that, Flint. Reggie Perry has a better chance than Robert Woodard. I don't think Woodard's going to be an impact scorer at the college level. I think he's going to be more of an everything else guy. I don't know. Fish camp is a ploy to make you think it's fresh, says Danny E. Pinter. Danny's bringing the heat today. Danny's doing good stuff. They have arts and crafts for trout and catfish.
Love that.
That's what fish camp is.
Love that. That's coming of the day.
Steve C. bringing the heat. Fish camp makes it sound old-fashioned, so they think it'll attract people. It doesn't attract me. Doesn't attract me at all. Bet your mom and grandma are thrilled. Yeah, we should have called my grandmother today on the show. My grandmother, a huge Alabama fan. My mom, a huge Alabama fan. Which makes me hate both of them so much. I don't care what they're called. The fish is usually great. Morgan Maurice Willis. Good point. Good point. Reggie Perry is going to be awesome as a stretch 4, says Charlie Jones. Is he a stretch 4? I think he's just a straight 4, isn't he? I think he's a guy that can get down and score. Something we really don't have. Eric Coleman is a stretch 4. How come we can't take care of the ball up 9 with 8 minutes to go? Well, we're still a team that figures out ways to lose. And it's disappointing, but that 8-minute stretch could have been coached much better. And I haven't seen the evidence of the UCLA Howland or the Pitt Howland at Mississippi State yet. Is it coming? Hopefully. The recruiting is there. My thinking was with the wide receiver core State has now, State could win the SEC, but after Tua, I don't know. Willie Harris. I don't know. I mean, Alabama was going to be the favorite regardless. And I think State can be in that 2 or 3 range. I just don't know if State can win the SEC with a road game in Alabama. Why every year that we peak, why do we have to, like every year we peak, we have a road game in Alabama. We very rarely peak in a year we have them at home. Do we pick up any top additional football recruits? Jonathan Simmons. I don't know about top recruits. We might fill some needs. You know, the offensive lineman out of Memphis would be good. Probably need another defensive back. So I think we'll fill some needs. I don't know about top recruits. Tua is a definite step up from Hurts. I don't think that's debatable. Not even debatable. I'm ready for baseball, says Ginger Tuck. 1 more month. Mike Kilgore says, give me a steakhouse over a fish camp any day. See, they don't call them steak camps. They don't call them pizza camps. All right? You never been to a pasta camp, have you? To have pasta? No, just fish camps. It's odd. He can hit from the perimeter. I think he averages a double-double. It would be fun to watch him in the All-American game. Reggie Perry. Thank you, Charlie Jones. Okay, Brandon, are you bringing SEC Country to MSU basketball game with South Carolina? That's Monday, February 5th. You want to go over there, Terp?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
I'm out of town that weekend.
You're out of town that weekend. Where are you
Back
going?
the 4th. Going to D.C.
D.C. Why?
Maryland.
I know where D.C.
See
is.
the boys.
See the boys.
Yeah.
Oh, see the boys. Is this show going to go through all sports? Looks like it, Michael Kleiber. Oh, yeah, this show's going year-round. This show's going year-round. We ain't stopping. We ain't stopping. Can't stop. Won't stop. Bad boy. Okay. What? She got, Terp, her finger's itching. Why are you doing this? You okay? All right. Who said we're peaking next year? We're just getting started, says Stan Riddle. Yeah, for right now, we're peaking next year. We're definitely, 2018 is a peak. It doesn't mean it's going to be followed by a valley, but 18 is a peak. Classic Dave Chappelle, Jesse Young. Did I do a Dave Chappelle joke? I probably did.
I don't know.
Most of my jokes come from somebody else. So, let's be honest about it. All right. Good stuff. Had a good day today. Enjoyed being back. We took a day off yesterday for the national title game, but my regulars are here. Always like to talk to you guys. Always good time. Again, if you say the word couch after today, you're banned henceforth. Okay. Until next time, my name is Brandon Walker. You've been watching More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country.